Do we actually need meetings? This is my question to you. With all of the meetings that are probably in your diary right now, you might be wondering the same thing. And to cut a long story short, I would say, no, actually, we don't need any meetings. And I'm going to explain why. Welcome to the Space to Thrive, where I share tips and techniques to build a more collaborative culture. My name is Ed Moss, and I'm your collaboration coach and facilitator. Now, in a previous video, we designed the ultimate worst meeting possible, and you might want to go and watch it and see how many of the things show up in your meetings. Now, the first thing we need to consider is, what is the purpose of a meeting? Now, for me, the purpose of a meeting is to bring people together to collaborate. What I often see happening in meetings is that they're actually about people coming together so that someone with some power is able to impart some information and other people are supposed to absorb it. Imagine a Victorian classroom, for example. Now, I might be sounding like I'm exaggerating a little bit, and I'm not wishing to do a disservice to anybody who runs meetings like this. It's more of a case that we just aren't taught how to bring people together to collaborate. A big issue here is I think that we're not taught a couple of fundamentals. One is we don't really have or are taught a theory of how people work. Number two is we don't really have a theory of how to bring people together and collaborate together. And number three, we often don't have our own practice or way of doing that in an authentic way. So what we do is we often just default back to things we've seen, perhaps university lecturers, if you've been to university, or if you went straight into work, you're most likely going to just copy what you've seen other people doing. We don't really stop and think about A, whether we need them at all, B, what the purpose of them is, or C, how we might actually make them better. If we take this idea of meeting and bringing people together, I actually find it really interesting to think of this as almost like a spiritual experience. Now, hold on there, whoa, before you think I'm getting a bit too woo-woo and leave the channel. What I mean about this is actually let's think a bit about how we can create an experience that people actually want to be part of, right? You might have heard the phrase, well, that meeting could have been an email. And do you know what? In some cases, that's probably true. Emails are an excellent tool for giving information or asking people to confirm that they are doing something or have done something. They're also a great tool for being able to go back and look at things later. They are a terrible tool for dialogue, a terrible tool for collaboration, and they absolutely should not be used for asking people's opinions about things, in my opinion. It creates this huge mushroom cloud of emails, which I'm sure you'll be familiar with. I've actually made a short course about reducing the number of emails, that which you can find somewhere on screen right now. The next thing to think about is, what is the purpose of this bringing together of some people? It may be that your meeting is best served as a one-on-one meeting. I often find that whole team meetings are brought together for an issue that is really only relevant for two people to be part of. A good sign that this is the case is that you end up with two people in dialogue in the meeting and everybody else sat round watching, or possibly with their cameras off if it's on a virtual meeting. Once we go bigger than two people in a meeting, it's really worth considering the format and, again, the purpose. Now, it might be that you're specifically looking for a solution, or perhaps you're wanting to come up with a whole load of new ideas, or you're wanting to perhaps tackle a particular problem. Solution for this is actually to create a workshop, and it's what I refer to as square time. Okay, so it's nice and boundaried, it's really specific, and it allows you and a group of people to focus in on this topic or solution. There's a whole bunch of different ways we can design really simple workshops, which I'll go into in further videos. Please tell me in the comments below if that would be something that you would like. Now, another type of meeting is something that I might call a gathering. And I experience a gathering as more of a circle time. And the gathering part, the purpose here is actually about building connections with people and helping to build trust, teamwork, a sense of belonging with each other. We're looking at sharing feelings, sharing experiences, sharing stories. In a previous video, somewhere on screen, I talked a little bit about the 5 essential skills for making meetings and working together more effective, if you're thinking about how you can improve your meetings, I'd really recommend you go and check out that video after watching this one. So going back to this original question then, do we need meetings? Very often, no. It could be done as an email or an instant message, or perhaps even as a phone call. Number two, sometimes it could just be a one-on-one session. And the third option is to really consider the purpose of bringing a group of people together and think about what it is that we want to get out of it. And also thinking a little bit about where the group are up to. For example, if the team is bonding and working really nice and smoothly, then why not focus on a workshop format? If you're finding that actually people are really struggling to kind of make progress on solutions and there's lots of disharmony perhaps within the team, or some kind of conflicts that need resolving or some space creating, quite often it might be about having a gathering and creating some of that circle time. This really matters to me because we spend somewhere between 35 and 40% of our time at work, right? And if then most of our day is filled with these back-to-back meetings, which are mostly just getting people super stressed because people aren't actually finding solutions and making progress, and they're leaving feeling disconnected because perhaps people are just talking all the way through them, then what is the point? And when you start having 5 or 10 people in a room and being paid sort of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, dollars, or whatever your local currency is per hour, that number adds up really fast. So having lots of meetings is super expensive. So if we're going to have them, let's make them special. I really try and focus on helping you to make a 1% increase in your performance around collaboration in under 1% of your day, which is brackets about 14 minutes. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider supporting me and my channel by subscribing, clicking the button below. You can also press the bell icon to be notified whenever I release a new video. Please do like it because it helps the YouTube algorithm spread it to more people who are interested in this idea of changing how we spend our time at work. I'm also interested in what you think. Do you think we need meetings? And if there's something that I haven't covered in this video, please leave it in the comments below and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. So that's all for today, and I look forward to working in a more collaborative world.